Welcome to Algebra A for the 2020-2021 school year. I am Mr. Pipech. I'm one of the teachers of this course. Your other teacher of this course is Mrs. Snyder. So together we are co-teachers of Algebra A. So again, welcome to the class. We're excited for the start of this school year and we look forward to working with you. So learning might look a little bit different this year because we have some students learning virtually, some students learning in the hybrid capacity, meaning they're coming in every other day. So learning might look a little bit different this year, but I don't want you to worry about it. We will get through the experience together. All I ask you to do is do your best, and we will work together to make this the best experience for you as we possibly can. All right. So because we have students learning virtually and in a hybrid manner, the class is going to be conducted virtually. Okay. So most of your assignments you will submit virtually or online. Okay. So sometimes I'll be through a program, or sometimes we'll ask you to take pictures of your work and submit it that way. Okay. So if you are a student who is learning through the hybrid model this year, you will have the benefit oftentimes of being able to ask questions in person. If you're learning virtually, you still can ask questions. All you have to do is send us an email, or you could attend one of the live help sessions that we'll have probably once a week. So everybody should be able to get their questions answered, but please make sure you reach out to us if you're having any difficulty throughout the year. Okay? And one of the things you want to do to make your life a little bit easier and to make submitting assignments a little bit more effective is download the Google Classroom app on your cellular device. So all you have to do is go to your App Store or your Google Play Store and download the Google Classroom app. And what that will allow you to do is when you take a picture of your work, because that's how I'll ask you to submit a lot of your assignments, is by taking a picture of the assignment and your work and then submitting it that way. Because for mathematics is so tactile. We definitely want to see your work. We want to see your work to see how you're doing the problems, to see that you're understanding how to do the problems, to also be able to help you in the most effective manner possible, and for you to learn in the most effective manner. Because mathematics, the way you solve mathematics is by doing it, by figuring it out. So we want to see your work. So we'll ask you to take pictures, and if you download the Google Classroom app, after you take the picture, you'll make sure all four corners are in your picture and make sure it's clear. You'll just simply attach that picture to the assignment in Google Classroom. If you don't download the Google Classroom app, you can still submit your pictures, but what you'll have to do is you'll have to email the pictures to yourself, download them on that device or your Chromebook, and then submit them. So it's a lot easier if you download the Google Classroom app, although it's still manageable if you do not. But again, we highly recommend you download the Google Classroom app on your smartphone, as most students today do have smartphones. Okay? So now let's go over the rules and expectations of the class. So first, respect is really important. Be respectful at all times. So if Mrs. Snyder or I are talking, you should not be. Please make sure you're focused during lessons. So if we're giving you a lesson, through a video lesson, make sure you're just paying attention to that and not allowing yourself to be distracted through other things. If we are communicating through any type of chat or forum, meaning like sometimes Google Classroom has a feature where you could leave responses. Make sure your answers are appropriate. If you're learning synchronously in a help session, make sure you are appropriate and respectable of other people's opinions. So we ask that you conduct yourself in the same manner you are expected to conduct yourself, in person in the school environment. Okay. If we're doing group activities, make sure you work politely and cooperatively with other students. For the students that are hybrid, there's no food or drink in class. Okay. The only thing you're allowed to have is a clear water bottle. The food or the drink, unless there's a medical exception to that, the food or the drink should remain for lunchtime. So again, the only thing you're allowed in class would be a clear water bottle. Materials for class. Things we want you to have for class every day, regardless of your learning modality. Make sure you get yourself a 3-ring binder. We recommend at least 1.5 to 2 inches thick. And again, that's whether you're learning virtually or in the hybrid model. Because for mathematics, we'll give you a lot of papers. It's going to be a good idea for a lot of you guys to print those papers out if you're learning virtually or through hybrid. And also for your math work. So you want to keep all your items for mathematics or Algebra A in one place, and that would be that 3-ring binder. Okay, and what you want to do is you want to hole punch those items and keep them in your notebook that way. Okay, so that way you have a nice, neat, organized notebook. We also want you to use pencil at all times. There's no pen allowed. The reason for that is if you make a mistake, you can fix it, right? And if you use a pen, you have to cross out the entire problem. If you use a pencil, it allows you to just fix the area where you made your mistake. Okay, so please make sure you use pencil for our class. No pen allowed. Okay, the calculator once you get for our class is the TI-30 X2S. Okay, and actually, if I do a quick search on that, you just type it in Google, TI-30 X22S, numeral 2S, excuse me, and here's the links to that calculator. The cheapest price we saw was $10.99 from Target, at least right now, and that would be as of 8:30. So we do want you to get this calculator on your own because you could use this for all 4 years of math. And some people think that their cell phones are fine, and in many cases they are for most of the functions that you'll use, but your calculators on your cell phones don't have all the functionality that you would use in your 4 years of mathematics. And additionally, the Keystone exams, if you take those in person, they do not allow you to use your cellular device. And also, another reason is that if you're using your cell phone for math, it allows you to get easily distracted sometimes. So for all those reasons, we do ask you to get a TI-30 X2S calculator, okay? And we usually give you a week to do that. So that would be due next week, the beginning of next week. All right. For the hybrid students, make sure you get yourself a pair of earbuds. That way you can watch the video lessons at your own pace without distracting others. And just make sure you bring a positive attitude and mindset every single day, because sometimes mathematics can be difficult for certain students. And if you have a positive attitude, it's going to go a lot better. So as long as you come with that positive attitude, we're going to have a great school year. All right. So remember, I did ask you to make sure you have a 3-ring binder for your notebook. You could organize your notebook 2 ways. Some people, we've seen some great notebooks over the years. Some people like to have sections for their notebooks. So what I mean by that is they might use like those tab dividers, and they'll have a section for their homework, a section for their notes, and a section for their assessments, things like that. You don't have to do that. If you have trouble with organization, especially if you are, a student, again, like I said, who struggles with organization and that executive skill, one of the things you can do is just put your materials in reverse chronological order. So that would mean you put the most recent thing on the very, very top of your notebook. So you want to put 3 holes, get yourself a 3-ring hole punch, and just put the holes in each paper you have or get, and then you can put them in your notebook, and that way they're not falling out of your notebook, and it's very neat and organized. So again, just take your most recent thing and put it on top of your notebook. And how would we do a notebook check? Well, all we'll ask you to do virtually is take pictures of, let's say, 5 items from your notebook. So that's the way we would do it. Simple as that. Okay. And it's so important that you have your papers for you to be able to study for, assessments. You don't want to be losing your papers for every assignment. You want to make sure you have your papers to reference so that way you can prepare. Okay. So that covers the notebook. We will be using the McGraw-Hill Algebra 1 textbook. Now, how do you get there? You get there through Clever. All right. So up at the top, you guys should have a little link here for Clever, and I have a link to the Clever portal. Just waiting for this to load. So that's the online textbook we'll use right there in McGraw-Hill, and we'll have there will be a separate tutorial on how to use the online textbook. Okay, which will be posted in Google Classroom. So there it is. Mine looks a little bit different than yours. You'll just have the teacher edition show up there. All right. But that's how you get to the online textbook. It's McGraw-Hill. So make sure you do your own work. I'm on number 6. Cheating, copying, or plagiarism will not be tolerated. So if you're a hybrid student, that could be the traditional methods of cheating, like looking off somebody's paper or sharing an assignment with somebody before class. Um, but if you're virtual, that would also include the same thing. Do not share your work or assignments with another student. You need to do your own work. Unless it's a group activity, you're doing your own work. Anytime you're logged in through the school's network, the school's Gmail account, we can track your history and your online activities. Okay. And we don't do that unless we would have reason to, but it can be tracked. So make sure you do your own work, because if you're caught plagiarizing an assignment or cheating or copying, you'll get a 0 for that assignment, and the person that was also involved will also get a 0. And there's not really a lot of questions asked there. And if it happens again, it's going to be 0s for all people involved, and then there'll be discipline involved with that as well. Okay, and it follows the school's policy and discipline. So make sure you do your own work. Okay, very, very important, and that's explained here. So if you are a hybrid student coming to class on the days you're in school, make sure you're seated and ready to go when the bell rings. You should have your pencil out, your notebook out, your homework out, your calculator out, and awaiting instructions from Mr. Snyder or I. Okay? And if you're a hybrid student, if you need to use the restroom, make sure you ask us. And then here's the hall pass you need to complete before you're able to do so. We do ask that you limit your use of the restroom to the first 10 minutes or the last 10 minutes unless there's an emergency. But that's what you need to complete if you're a hybrid student attending school in person that day. All right? We do want to make sure you guys all participate in class regularly, because that's going to help you be successful. So anything we ask you to do, please make sure you do that. That's going to help with your understanding and comprehension of material. And then more importantly, most everything you do is graded. So, but let's say we would give you something that's not graded. We're giving it to you because it's going to help you. It's going to help you understand the material better. It's going to give you additional practice. So you always want to make sure you participate in all class activities regularly. Okay. Regarding technology, please do not be on your smartwatch or your cell phone during class for the hybrid students. So we have policies on that. You should be on using your Chromebook, and you should be on the websites or databases that we're using for that day. You should not be surfing the internet. Just to give you an example, maybe looking at YouTube videos or shopping or anything like that. You should be using your technology for whatever the assignments and work are for that day. Okay? We'll use many different types of online platforms for our work. I showed you a couple already through the Clever platform. I believe I did, but let me go through that real quick. We have Study Island we'll use Inventum. Here's our class website. There'll be a separate tutorial on that. We have Khan Academy, and then we also have McGraw-Hill, the online textbook. But we'll use some other sites as well, maybe Kahoot, CK12. I'm sure a lot of you used Kahoot before, maybe Quizegg. So we'll use different websites as well. But a lot of the databases or sites we'll use are available through Clever. Okay? Well, I think we covered a lot of this stuff. If you're a hybrid student and there's a substitute teacher in, make sure you're respectable to that person. Homework. Homework is such a vital part for your success in Algebra A. You will have homework just about every day. Now, in terms of the class being conducted virtually, sometimes there's a blurred line between classwork and homework, because really it's they're both items of work. So traditionally, homework is something given outside of the school hours, but if you're a virtual student, kind of the classwork and the homework are really the same. But we'll tell you how things are classified. Usually for us, anything that's on Khan Academy is considered classwork. And we'll state in the directions what something is, what category it falls in, because you'll see that your different categories of work have different percentages. But again, you'll have homework just about every night in Algebra A. It's so important that you do it because it is 15% of your final grade, which doesn't seem like a lot, but it does add up quickly, and you need a 70% to pass. So if you wouldn't do your homework for some reason, you're automatically down to an 85%. And of course, we never advise anybody to do that. I'm just giving you an example. But more importantly, besides the grade, you're getting practice with the concepts you're learning. And that practice is critical for your success. So that's why you have homework just about every night. Okay? Make sure you do your very best on it. All right? The homework is due by 11:59 on the day that assignment is due. Okay? It's not due the next morning. It's due at 11:59. Now, here's why. Because everybody's learning differently. We have hybrid students and virtual. So the class is conducted virtually. So assignments on the date they're due are due by 11:59 p.m. Okay? And usually that's going to be electronically they're due. Now, I do not recommend that you stay up till 12 o'clock midnight to do your work. That is the deadline as a district we have to allow for some flexibility in case there's students with unique situations in the virtual learning environment. I would recommend no later than 10 p.m. and maybe even 9 p.m. Okay, but we do allow for that full classified day, 11:59, in case it's needed. So your work is due by 11:59 p.m. All right, on the day it's due. All right. And most of the time for homework, we grade it on completeness and effort because I can look at an assignment very quickly and determine whether you gave it your best effort and you followed the directions, meaning like you showed your work. Sometimes it's graded on correctness, but there's some limitations there. Like for example, I might look at a homework assignment and if you got 75% of the problems correct, you'll get full credit that day. So typically for homework, the most important thing is that you try and you give it your best effort. Okay. But there might be some different ways your homework is graded as well. I might say this homework is graded, so make sure you do your very best. But if I do grade a homework assignment, they're not worth a lot of points. Okay. Each question might be worth a point or something like that. Because again, I want you to be able to have that opportunity to practice without it being worth the same amount that each question on a test or quiz would be worth. Okay. Homeworks are usually anywhere from 3 to 10 points. Okay. Almost done here, guys, so bear with me for another maybe 3 or 4 minutes. Absences. If you're absent from school, whether it be the hybrid environment or you have an excused reason for not completing your work virtually that day. And again, I say excused reason. So if you miss a day of school, you have the amount of days you were out or unable to do your work for an excused reason to make up the work that you missed. So for example, if you're unable to do your work for one day, then upon coming back to school or resuming your work, you have one day to make up that work. So let's say that you're absent on Tuesday from the hybrid environment and you could not do your work that day. Or you have an excused reason for not doing your work that day. Well, on Wednesday, when you resume your work, you have Wednesday to make up the work that you missed from Tuesday and Wednesday's work. So that work would all be due then at 11:59 p.m. for Thursday. Okay? Or, for example, let's say you're out Monday and Tuesday. You're unable to do your work Monday and Tuesday for an excused reason. Well, Wednesday and Thursday would be that time then complete your work that you missed. And then it'd be due at 11:59 on Thursday. Okay? So you have the amount of days you were out or that you missed for an excused reason to make up your work. Okay? And then make sure you guys click this attendance link. You have to complete attendance for any day. Virtual students, you got to complete this every day. And then if you are a hybrid student, you must complete this attendance link for any day you are not attending school in person. Okay? We talked about the 11:59 p.m. deadline for work. So grading policy. Your homework is 15% of your marking period average. Classwork is another 15%. And then your tests and your quizzes are 70% of your grade. Okay? And you see the point values there? So basically, quizzes are a smaller point value, where tests could be more points. So your grade is points out of points, but then those categories are then multiplied by a percentage. So they're basically weighted. Okay. So tests and quizzes carry the most weight, but homework and classwork, they also carry a good weight. That's 30%. And keep in mind that you need a 70% to pass the class. So you got to make sure you do, your classwork and your homework. Okay. So that grading policy is per marking period. Okay. And then extra help. Mrs. Snyder and I are here to help each and every one of you guys succeed. As long as you are willing to do the work and to give it your best effort, we are always going to help you. Okay? So, again, if you're a hybrid student, please ask us questions in class. Or if you're home that day or you're a virtual student, please email us. We'd be glad to answer your question. And you can take a picture of of what you have a question about, or whatever it may be. Now, with that being said, if you're struggling, we will have synchronous help sessions, during the week. So make sure if you're struggling, you attend those sessions. Now, with that being said, guys, please keep in mind that after 3 p.m., Mr. Snyder and I may not be available to help you. Okay, so if you need support after that time, it might have to wait to the next school day. All right, because we do have, we get up very early and we have to make plans for the next school day to make sure we are providing you guys the best instruction and instructional activities. So it is possible that we won't be able to help you after 3 p.m. So do not expect immediate reply after 3 p.m. And a lot of times that response will have to wait to the next day. All right. And then here's the form that you guys have to have your parents or guardians sign. Now, do not print out this full course syllabus. There'll be a separate page just with this signature page. Okay. So what you have to do is you have to have your parent or guardian after you go over the course syllabus with them, or I should say, after you bring up this course syllabus to show them. And the link for it is here. How they can also view the course syllabus by going to the class website. But then you would sign it, your parent or guardian's going to sign it, and they're going to print their name. And they could also add additional contact information if they have additional contact information that was not provided in Skyward. Okay? So if you are a hybrid student, I will give you a copy of this. If you're a virtual student, make sure you print this out and then get it signed, and you'll submit a picture of these signatures. Okay? So this was actually your first homework assignment for the 2021 school year, is to print out this signature page, have your parent or guardian sign it, and you sign it, and then you're going to return that to us either in person or through Google Classroom as an attachment. All right? So then you will have a short, and here's our contact information if needed. You will have a short assignment that asks you questions about this course syllabus today. So make sure you do your best with that in completing it, and you can reference the course syllabus while you're completing this assignment. All right? So thank you very much for your attention. I really appreciate it. Again, Mrs. Snyder and I look forward to a fantastic school year. Thank you very much, and have a great day.